Good morning, my name's Helen. It's Thursday morning, it's the summer holidays, and this is Think Differently Thursday. And it's really great for me to have my friend Nathan with me this morning. Good morning, Nathan.
Morning.
How are you?
Morning. I'm well.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how well are you?
7, 6, 5 to 7.
Literally, it's getting worse as the time went on. 7, 6, 5. We've only just started.
I'm good. I'm good.
I ask you at the end as well, like, how are you?
You can't lie, can you? We're not allowed to, so.
Nathan, I know you, but people listening to this might not. So just in a nutshell, just tell us who you are.
I am Nathan. I am 34. I live in Ipswich, and I've got 2 boys.
Fantastic. Oh, I love seeing the boys on Instagram and stuff. They're literally growing up so much. So sweet.
Yeah, they are.
Nathan, you are working with a charity at the minute called Route to Freedom, an outreach in Ipswich. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about it?
It's 5 churches working together, and basically what we do, we try and help people, support people. We take people who are going through a very hard time, and us as a small outreach team go out and reach out to people. Then we try and put them into the community care of one of the 5 churches, and then just help and support them.
Fantastic. Sounds amazing. Also sounds like there's lots of kind of personal interaction there. So I guess that's been difficult or impossible during lockdown. Have you still been able to work?
Absolutely. It's been impossible.
Yeah.
Because of the lockdown, the rules and red tape and safeguarding and every other thing that gets thrown at you. We can't, obviously, a lot of our work consists of us walking around on the streets. So when there was a coronavirus and the lockdown, we couldn't be seen walking around on the streets.
Yeah, sure.
And obviously we try and put them inside of a church, but the problem is none of the church buildings are open at the moment. So it's been a lot of hard work. We started doing one-on-ones where we meet people one-on-one in a park, and now things are getting lifted now, so there can be more interaction, but obviously there's still 2 meter distance, and it's very hard for the job we do, and actually going by the government's rules, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Challenge.
Like lots of things, I guess you're having to adapt how you do things and just change it a little. What's your whole vision for the future for Route to Freedom?
Route to Freedom. I'd like to see Route to Freedom in every church in Ipswich, and then I'd love to see that. I like to see all the churches coming on board. We've got 5 churches at the moment, but I like to see the other 70 come on board as well. I like to see 2 people out and about every day for 7 days a week, and I'd love to see this in different towns and cities. Be lovely to see. My vision really is to hope to have a building one day where we could literally take people off the streets 2 at a time and put them in a building where it'd be like rehab / support housing, supporting housing, and maybe have a church, you know what I mean? But getting all those churches together on one church is an impossible job because different dominations and stuff, like different rules, as you know. But you can't put a limit on what God can do, can you? So
no, absolutely. And that's the heart of it, is it? Reaching people that mostly are on the streets, and it's helping them to get off the streets and find.
Just not people on the streets. Anyone that's hurting, or anyone that needs help or some kind of support. Like the youngest person I work with is 19, and the oldest person is in his 70s.
Wow.
So it's anything. Prisons, we do with gang, and without going into detail, we do with all different kinds of people with all different kinds of problems.
Sounds like it's exactly what the church should be doing, Nathan, just like reaching out to people that are struggling. So if people are listening and what you're saying about reaching people, particularly people that are really struggling with life, if people are listening and thinking, that's my heart, but I don't know how to get involved with this. Is it something that folk can get involved with? Are you looking for other people to volunteer and to be involved, or to
Yeah.
be involved with praying or giving money or anything?
Yeah, of course. It'd be lovely to have more people on the team. I'm not just talking about people on the streets. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, we want to see people go out on the streets every day, but that'd be great to see people. If people feel like they can do that, that'd be good. But I think we're looking at training people before they go out, obviously because of safeguarding reasons. But anything really, anyone who's got a skill, who feel they can bring something to the charity, it'd be amazing. Like, we do alphas, and we do a street alpha. So if it's an older lady or man who feels like he can't get out there, but could cook us a meal to give to someone for that week of alpha, that'd be amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously further down the line, we're hoping to expand. So we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need a charity. Is a lot of things go into a charity.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
and prayer would be great, and of course, most importantly, funding. Funding is very important for a charity.
Okay.
So
yeah, loads of ways people.
Yeah, actually, I've got to swip that around. Prayer's more important than funding.
Well recovered.
Yeah, you like that.
Brilliant. It's what we should all be doing in lots of different ways, I think, as Christians, reaching out to the marginalised, the vulnerable in society, people that are struggling. But it's so your mission. It's so what you are passionate about. Why is that? What's put it on your heart? Why is this your thing, Nathan?
I think it's the way I grew up. Yeah, okay. It's something I grew around. It's something I grew up in. I think it's always been there. I've always tried to be good for people, good for friends and that. But I think it really, really touched home is when I was in Teen Challenge. Like, that's when God really showed me the vision, showed me what I had to do and what I had to do for him. And I think that's what it's about.
You're going to have to explain. So this all came to you while you were with Teen Challenge, but people won't necessarily know what Teen Challenge is. Do you want to just explain what that is and why that you were there?
I found myself in Teen Challenge. Teen Challenge is a place up in Nottingham. It's like a rehab. They call it a rehab, but it's far from a rehab. It's 4 weeks, I would say it's a rehab. But then the best way to explain Teen Challenge is it's like boot camp, army, Bible college, prison.
That's what I remember you said. It's like Bible college and prison all wrapped into one.
Yeah, it's a mixture of everything, but it's a place of love, and it's a great place, and it's a good place.
It's a place where you found recovery, but I know it was pretty intense. But that it's in that time, I think I've seen it mold you for this work and equipped you to do the thing that you're doing now. But I know it was tough. At times it was tough just because of the routine and the expectations. Did you want to give up?
The program, I found it easy because you got up and you got told what to do. For me, that's routine wasn't really my hardest bit. It was the emotional side of it. It was being away from the boys, dealing with other people, dealing with yourself, dealing with your own inner demons. You know what I mean? Because while you're in the program, you have to do counselling behind closed doors, and a lot of stuff comes up. A lot of stuff that you've never spoke about. So and that's hard to deal with. And like you got to remember the people in Teen Challenge, the people you're surrounded with. I love them; they're my brothers, but we're all dodgy characters. A lot of these guys that have gone into Teen Challenge, they wasn't like come from great backgrounds. They've all came from prison or off the streets. So in society's eyes, they're a rough bunch, but they're very godly people. As you sing yourself, they are lovely people.
Absolutely.
They're lovely guys.
How long was the programme? How long were you actually there?
It was 44 weeks. Yeah, it was near enough a year. It was a long time.
Yeah. But you stayed. What would you say, what got you through? How did you manage on those times where it was tough and you were missing the boys and it was challenging emotionally? How did you get through?
How did I get through? I got to end of phase 1, and then I experienced God like in a chapel where I didn't realise it at the time, but I was baptised in the Holy Spirit, and that's when I saw the vision, and that's when God showed up and told me what He wanted me to do, and hence the ministry R2F. That's how it started. So from end of phase 1, I knew that I had to stick it out. I knew why I felt God there. And
Brilliant.
yeah, also seeing the boys getting you coming up to see me all the time and having all the lovely postcards and cards from everybody. I dig some out. I have dug some out. I want to show the world your lovely postcards. Right. So this is one of them. Look at that for a postcard. You know, that's one of them. I'm going to show all of them. This is another one of your great postcards. And this is my favourite, Helen. You know what I mean? It's a good thing I'm a Christian. Yeah, this is my favourite because it's a good thing I'm a Christian. Yeah, because I wouldn't be very grateful if I wasn't. Look at that. Now, you tell me what's that about? You know,
it's me just trying to be friendly and supportive.
Yeah, it's something your great nan would send you. You know, I don't know where you must have got that out of your great nan's house. You know,
I like to think it helped get you through. I like to think that you never knew what you were going to get through the post.
Well, I was trying to break my chains, but clearly you showed me something different. A picture of a knot.
And I'm glad you've kept them. That means a lot to me, Nathan.
I've got postcards. There's loads.
So we've talked about what Teen Challenge was and the outcome of it, and I know that you grew so much and you learnt so much, and literally you've become this person with this passion for doing what you are doing now. But you don't go to Teen Challenge for no reason. You know, life clearly had gone wrong for you in lots of ways, presumably through childhood and growing up. What was it that led to you being there and being in that place and needing that place? What needed to change about your life?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to keep going over my childhood, but I went through a hard childhood. It was very tough. It was very hard, and I went through a lot of abuse and stuff like that, and then that led on to teenage years. And again, my fear turned to anger, then that got me into trouble, and I surrounded myself with bad things. And for that, I went off to Norwich, but I carried my addictions and my inner demons with me. So from there, I had lots of failed relationships because of my alcohol problem. There's a lot of things that happened to me, but you know what I mean, I've got to think of the relationships that I've been in, and they went through a hard time with me because I was just an alcoholic. Yeah. So it got to a point where I found myself in Needham. I lost my boy's mum, and I found myself in Needham. I just lost my home, I lost my partner, I lost the kids. I only had Stanley at the time. I tried killing myself. I was in a real deep mess. And then Alan from the Forge, who I worked with, he invited me along to this thing called Alpha, not telling me it's to do with Christians, as we all know. And yeah, and then that's how I ended up meeting you.
Absolutely. And I remember it so well, and I hadn't met you, but Alpha was going to happen at mine, and Alan, as you say, is from the Forge, and he said that he'd invited this friend along. So I think we had a bit of text communication because I was just trying to sort out food and stuff. And so the first time I met you was when you walked through my door for Alpha, and I'll never forget it. I think you looked uncomfortable, and I think you were struggling to make eye contact, and I'm embarrassed to say that I limited God, I think, and I wasn't sure that this was the place for you, and that's awful, and so I've learned a lot through meeting you. But how did you feel that first evening when you came to Alpha?
I just feel like I've been set up. I just got set right up.
Not set up with me, you don't mean, do you?
No, not set up with you, but with everyone. It wasn't like that, was it? Flipping heck. No, just
flipping heck. Wasn't that bad?
No. I just when you walk, it's just you know, it was just awkward for me. It was really awkward. And all those Christians in one room. I wasn't very Christian then, was I? So, I don't know. And Alan, I just looked at Alan and I thought, yeah, I can't say what I was thinking, but I think you can guess what I was thinking.
Because he knew that you were having a hard time, didn't he? And I think, bless him. I mean, that's been life-changing, hasn't it? But he was like, well, just come along, come and meet these people, and maybe there'll be something in it for you. And we kind of took it from there. We had some interesting evenings, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
You brought some friends sometimes as well, didn't you? Which was brilliant.
Interesting. Interesting again.
How did you find the course as the weeks went on? You came, you were there every week. How did you find the course as it went on?
It was good. I think I went back the second time to basically get my own back on Alan, but then it got to a point where it was just brilliant. I started making friends, and it was hard. Some weeks were harder than other weeks. We had very deep conversations, and then we had really light conversations, and it's something I'll never forget. Like, I've done a lot of alphas since then, and it always reminds me of that first alpha. And I stick by it. And the weeks were, we had some very hard conversations. I remember I've only known Steve Fenning to swear once, and I'll put this on TV, but that was in that alpha. But he wanted me to get it. But all you guys were, it was just amazing. It was just means a lot to me.
And I think during that time, you kind of connected in with the Forge a bit, didn't you? You'd come sometimes on the Sundays with the boys.
At the end of the Alpha, yes. I think it was at the end of Alpha. Yeah. I tried getting out of doing the Forge with the boys, but then you decided to say, no, you can bring the kids as well. So
I remember picking them up with car seats and scooters.
Harley car seats. I know. The journey.
And you got to know people, so I know you spent a lot of time with Steve and Jan as well. What would you say was like happening in your life at that time, towards the end of Alpha and after Alpha as well? What would you say was happening in your life?
My life was changing. I wasn't a Christian. If I'm honest, I really didn't find my true faith until I went to Teen Challenge, but God was there with me, and things were changing. Like, I didn't have Charlie when I first met you. All I had was Stanley in my life, and then through the weeks now, I've learnt about forgiveness and temptation, and that horrible evil week that just blew me. Oh, I hate that week, but things were changing in my life, and I could see that, and I was getting I had Charlie, started getting Charlie back with me at weekends, and all the things. Yeah, there was a lot of good things happening, but behind the scenes there was a lot of bad things, because when you start realizing stuff, then I was drinking more, and I was fighting.
And I guess it was bringing stuff to the surface for you and making you reflect on stuff, and I could see it. I literally could see it in you sometimes, just like that whole thought process going on.
It was that journey, that Alpha. I can never forget it, because that was deep. It was so deep. Yeah. It was just. And who would think 3 years down the line we'll be sat here doing this now? From when I went in that door, that first Alpha, to this now.
I know, that's a miracle, and I think that's just such testimony to the life-changing power of Jesus. Absolutely transforming. So you said just now that you weren't a Christian. You are a Christian now. Would you say that there was a moment, or would you say that was a gradual process?
It was definitely a gradual process. It was I think doing the Alpha, then starting to go to church, and then I had experiences through the Alpha, and then after going to church, I remember an experience the third time I went to church, and that really choked me up. And then it was just a journey, but it was a journey I was fighting. I was just fighting the whole way through. And if it wasn't people like yourself and Janet Watson and Steve Fenn have just been amazing for me. And they went for a lot, because of these two guys who just stuck with me, even through the bad, dark times, and they got me out of some mess. You know, if it wasn't for Janet, I would have got sectioned. They was gonna, I mean, stuff like that. They was there. And just imagine it. And Steve, he was just there. They just supported me, and I owe a lot to them. Yeah.
And you're reflecting that back now, I think, in the work that you're doing. That's what you're now doing for other people, and I think, and that's how the circle goes on. It's brilliant. I think your story is wonderful. I think you are, as I just said, your testimony to the transformation that Jesus can bring, and I know that so many people have learnt such a lot from you. I think you have really challenged me at times, which has been really good. I've learnt so much through you, and I love your heart for what you're doing now, this serving and reaching out to other people that, because of your experience, because of the tough times that you've had, you so understand them, and you understand the journey that they're on. It's a brilliant story, Nathan. I love it. What's the future for you?
I don't. Well, there's two answers to that. There's the answer, where would I like to see? Well, come September, me and my friend Liam are going into business together. So we're going to start doing work. So anyone wants a patio done, holler at me, plug. I'll just get that little plug in. But I'd love to see myself. I'd like to see myself in a church, doing some leadership role inside of a church and working. Yeah, in a church or my own church, but I'd never want to be the guy at the front. I don't want to be a pastor. That's not me. I hate all that. But I'd love to see that, and also the rehab through R2F. I love to see that rehab. But most importantly, what I long for the most, just to settle down, get married, and live a quiet, happy life.
Okay, right.
Apparently, that's never going to be me. but no.
Oh. Well, Nathan, if we look at your life, 3 years ago to now, it's just like so many miracles have happened. I think, there's so much good stuff coming in the future, I'm certain. Couldn't help stalking you on Facebook before we spoke, and I can't help noticing that there is a girlfriend.
Yeah, girlfriend.
How's that going?
It's going okay, Helen. No, it's good. I better say something nice. I've been told to say something nice. She is just amazing. She is magical. She's
beautiful.
The love of my life. You're beautiful. Help me out.
Right, that sounded really good.
Yeah.
No, I'm really pleased.
It's good. And I'm looking forward for the future.
Brilliant. That's amazing. We particularly at the Forge, we love you so much. So many people are so fond of you. Absolutely love your story, your journey of faith, and what you're choosing to do with it now. And I know there was so many people that would, do pray for you and would love to pray for you. And I think people will listen to this morning and want to pray for you. What can we pray for you? What would you like people to talk to God about on your behalf?
I just pray that Roots of Freedom does get, it's not about getting bigger, but it does expand and it does grow, because I feel if more churches were on board and more people on board, we could help a lot more people. And it's just, I love to see that. I won't be doing Roots of Freedom forever. I've always said that another year and a bit, then I'm stepping back from it, and then I want to go on to other stuff, but it's there now, and I hope I love to see this in 10, 20 years and look at it and think, I was part of that.
Yeah.
And see, that means a lot. That'd be really good.
Yeah, your legacy.
Yeah, I'd like to see, like, I know this is going completely off track, but I'm thinking like in my head about the Forge and Steve, and what I'd really love to see, like Steve got behind me with my vision. So I'd love to see people get behind Steve on his vision. I know he said by the time he retire, like he would like to see how many churches, 10 churches
10,
in rural
15.
areas, 10, 15. But I feel like, I think as a pastor, you've got to follow your pastor to the end. So I'd love to see people pray for that to happen, that does happen before he retires, because the guy's never asked me for anything. He's never asked me, I'd say, Dave, can you do me a favour? So it'd be nice to, before he retires, it'd be nice to see that for him. Yeah,
that's wonderful.
So let's pray for that as well.
Yeah, great things to pray for. And you know, maybe folks should pray as well that, you know, God stirs their heart, and if they're to be involved in some of the stuff that you're doing, that he'll really prompt them, and that they'll seek out ways to connect with you and help you with what you're doing. And they can do that. They can contact you, contact me, and I can put them in contact with you.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, great. Nathan, you are just wonderful. You always keep us on our toes, which is great. And it's been really
go for all bad thing.
But
my trustees say that.
I love talking to people. I've done this for months now. You're the only one I've felt nervous about.
Have you really? I'll be pretty good. I'll be good today.
So great. Thank you for giving me some time. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for being honest. Thanks for sharing your story. Lovely to see you. See you, Nathan.
Right.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.